This morning, there was another terrorist attack on the CRPF, not this morning, couple of days back, on the attack in Srinagar. And India is now bursting with anger against Pakistan that it believes is clearly, blatantly and cruelly orchestrating more and more terrorist attacks on India. Now, Pakistan itself is drawing closer to disintegrating every day, so we hear. And many experts say that spreading the poison of terror and targeting India is the only way the Pakistani government can distract its people and unite them. But can India, should India continue to sit silent and take the hits, the attacks and the murder? Is it time to start hitting back at Pakistan? Or is this just what the terrorists want? That's what I also want to talk about on this show, because when you're talking about concern for Indian lives, we can't ignore what happened in Srinagar. Subramanian Swamy, how do you react?
Yes, see, the first important principle is that you have got central forces there. They are not Kashmiri state forces. Now, this central forces ought to have to be kept inspired. Now, when these dead bodies or the injured bodies were taken to the hospital, nobody visited them. The Chief Minister didn't visit. What about the Governor? Governor is a representative of the Government of India. He didn't visit. And it is only after this furor in Parliament that today the Chief Minister went.
China NC.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I think it's absolutely shocking that you have a Chief Minister of a state who doesn't view his citizens' lives as priority. But having said that, you asked the question, should we act tough on terror? Clearly we should. The point is that you have our soldiers beheaded and we're mum. Pakistan doesn't even tender an apology. Then you have this so-called private / diplomatic visit where you have the top leader visiting Ajmer Sharif and you have Salman Khurshid totally there with a platter serving him lunch. Post that, you have so many incidents, whether it is completely making sure that Hindu temples are destroyed in Pakistan or Hindu citizens, their lives are at stake. What kind of a message are we as a country sending? Are we sending a message that we want to talk tough on terror, or are we again extending this diplomatic tie which serves no purpose? I think what one requires first is an apology before which we with so many questions unanswered. You have a 2611 where the perpetrators of crime still sit across the border, who are sitting pretty, questions on terror unanswered, attack after attack, be it the Hyderabad blast, be it so many blasts post that, and we just have no questions. Today one hears of Hindus being attacked in Bangladesh, then you have in Sri Lanka our Tamils dying. If this government has any kind of political will, it should show that if there is risk to any Indian life in any part of our neighboring states, we are going to make sure that you are given a message which the entire world talks about. Today nobody dare mess with the US. Why is it that India is always a soft target?
Okay. By the way, just let me say that
do you believe?
No, there's just one correction I need to make.
Okay.
That in Sri Lanka, both the Sinhalese and the Tamils are Indians. So I don't think China should only worry about the Tamils. She should also worry about the Sinhalese.
But the issue is, and here's first some good news that might be coming in. Breaking news that one Pakistan militant has been arrested in downtown Srinagar. Sources say that the questioning of the militant is on at the SOG headquarters in the city, where most top police officials are present. Sources also say that the militant is believed to be part of the module that planned and executed the suicide attack on the CRPF headquarters in Srinagar on Wednesday. So a small success story there, Subramanian Swamy. They have nabbed one person, and that's important, because what's becoming clear, that what we saw in Parliament, what we're looking at here is that there seems to be a concerted attempt by Pakistan, from Pakistan, to up the ante of terror in India. You've seen it in Hyderabad, you've seen it with the beheadings, you've seen it with the deaths of the sarpanches.
You've seen your sarpanches die in Jammu and Kashmir.
The question is,
do you believe that Pakistan is upping the ante, a new round of terror is what India is facing?
I don't know what you mean by Pakistan. There are 6 Pakistans. I don't know who's in charge there. The present civilian government is a joke, and I wouldn't take it even seriously.
Okay.
But what the important thing is not this defensive action of catching somebody. You need a deterrent action. What is that deterrent action? Let us have a debate on that. What is it that we should do that Pakistan would find it forbidding to carry out these acts.
What would that be?
Well, in my case, it would mean bombing the camps in Kashmir.
Okay, but is that what the terrorists want, Sanjay Hegde? I can see you shaking your head. They want an escalation.
Well, let's have an escalation.
Things are going to get much worse. 2014 is when the US leaves Afghanistan. The entire terror mechanism which Pakistan has used on its western border, it has to be used somewhere. It's eating like a cancer into their society. All that muck is going to come across our borders, and our
so what
only
should we
answer
do? Should we grin and bear it?
No, that's not what you do.
Coming to you in a moment, Amarjit.
What we really need is very strong defenses, and of course bombing across the border is not really possible with two nuclear neighbors.
Go ahead, Amarjit Kaur.
I don't think this kind of solution should be suggested, that we should go across and bomb some cities of Pakistan, while
not
knowing
cities,
already
terror camps.
there are various sectors. They are saying in the camps. Who is going to identify where are the camps and how many are the camps? I think these kinds of solutions are not going to help. What we actually should see to it, that this is what various sections within Pakistan, various terrorist groups, various linkages they have, they want, this is what should happen. Escalation between India and Pakistan, weakening of the civilian or democratic voice in Pakistan, stability of Pakistan further being domed, and that resulting into more difficult situation for India. So India as a big country, we cannot speak in a sense where we are not sober enough to understand and review the situation.
Let me put up on the screen.
And India, Pakistan to be peaceful. Stable Pakistan is better for us,
let's
not
put
for
up,
quarreling.
Let's all be peaceful, and this has gone on for many years, and terror attacks have never stopped. Amarjit Kaur, what you are saying is what India has tried to do for at least 20 years.
That's right.
And there's been no let up in terror.
Yes.
In fact, terror has gone up.
That's right.
So is it the fact that this prescription you are giving has failed? The prescription you are giving has failed.
No, I won't say it has failed. I'll say that nothing much has been done actually to control terror. So nothing reached to conclusion in the logic, and the genesis of terrorism, the way it is, needs to be handled. Why those terrorists should get a base here in India? What are we doing something within India also to see to it that there are various groups which give alibi to those terrorist groups also?
Okay, Shaina and then Hilal. Shaina, very quickly.
Of terrorism is there.
Okay, Shaina, very quickly.
Just very briefly. I think we need to up our intelligence for sure.
I'm coming to you, Hilal, in a minute.
What Swaraj, leader of opposition, said today in the House was absolutely correct, where she said that you have our Jawans being beheaded, you have this kind of diplomacy going on in Ajmer, and then you have repeated attacks on Jammu Kashmir, you have repeated attacks with all our sarpanches, etc., etc., and she narrated a history of facts over the last few years. Having said that, if we're not going to talk tough, we've tried every kind of rule in the book, which has been one after the other, where you have tried diplomacy, you've tried talking, you have tried this, you've tried that. We only realize that we're losing more lives. Now, unless we talk tough, we're going to see repeated incidents, and no one's going to take us serious. Forget India. Even in the international world, people will really make a mockery of us as a nation.
Hilal Naqvi, you believe differently?
Yes, Jahangir, whatever Shana is saying, she has got a very small memory, because she has left all the events of 1999 when there was a Kargil war, and after that the mastermind of the Kargil war was invited in the Agra summit. Then you have released Azhar Masood also. Then you have forgotten just after that there was an attack on the parliament, and after that whatever government has done, we all know. So we should not go into all these things. We should not go into all these things. The debate will go in other way. The thing is, Jahangir, that we should look into a larger picture. The thing is that what Mr. Subramanian Swamy has said, that if we want to talk to Pakistan, then whom we should talk to. The government is absolutely a mockery. as far as the military is concerned, they are dictators. They are ruled by the ISI. They are ruled by the terrorists. Then whom we are going to talk with? To whom we are going to fight with?
Okay.
As far as this option is concerned, that we should go and bombard the whole thing.
I'll tell you.
In that case, we'll be puncturing the cancer. In that case, we'll be puncturing the cancer. And one more thing I would like to say out here.
Just a second. Hold that thought. Hilal, please hold that thought. Ubaid Siddiqui, what I want to ask you is this. I want to first bring up on the screen documents that NewsX has accessed a long time ago, almost 2 months ago, that show clearly it is an IB report that says that the Pakistan ISI, along with a whole bunch of other terror groups, are actually now adopting mercenary tactics and paying people 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 5 lakhs when they kill or shoot at or behead an Indian soldier. We have never seen this before.
Well,
now, does this not clearly show?
As far as ISI is concerned, they are funding these militant groups in Kashmir for a very, very long time. It is not a secret. Second important thing is that there are sections of army and ISI who are rogue, completely rogue, and they act on their own. I personally believe, because I have been in touch with lots of people there, and what feedback I get from them, it tells that as far as the army and ISI is concerned, there is hardly any, they are hardly under the control of the government. They are acting on their own. But the point is that what is the solution?
Maybe you throw a cruise missile at the IS headquarters in Islamabad.
Look, the thing is that this is it so easy? The point is that when
it's not easy, but isn't it necessary? Then nothing worth doing is easy.
Look, the thing is that unfortunately in this country, on terrorism, on issues like Kashmir, which are very complex issues, there is no united stand.
There is no united stand in the United States. Ubaid, there are people who oppose Guantanamo Bay, there are people who oppose the suspension of habeas corpus, there are people who oppose torture, there are people who oppose the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan. Which country has a united stand on terror?
Look at the United Kingdom.
Where is the United Kingdom united on terror?
No.
The same division that talked about in the US exists in the UK. This is a hocus pocus. We are not united. There has to be will from the people who rule the government.
First the government has a prescription on which
exactly.
Is this a prescription what you are saying?
Yes, I am in for it. I am for it. I am for a war with Pakistan if necessary.
Let the whole nation decide.
Of course,
it cannot be done. It cannot be done.
I am in favor of a war with Pakistan if that is necessary.
They will control Al-Qaeda. What are they doing to Iraqi people? The common people are dying over there. Even today there were bomb blasts in Iraq. What is happening? So this method of going and bombing, capturing other countries, going and doing
bombing in Tibet
on some camps in the name of that. This does not help. History is before us.
If she talks about Iraq, then somebody can talk about Tibet.
By doing this, you will be puncturing the cancer. By doing this, you will be puncturing the cancer.
Let me also show you information that came into NewsX just late this evening. We'll put it up on your screen. The equipment these boys were carrying, who by the way looked eerily like the boys who went into Bombay on 26/11. Young boys in western clothes with ammunition and guns and stuff strapped around themselves. We are seeing a repeat of 26/11, of course on a more minor scale, but the exact same strategy. People randomly walk into a building with AK-47s built in Pakistan, supplied by Pakistan. The equipment has been caught, it's been photographed, it's been seen. They have medicine bottles from Karachi. They have clothes, and shoes and underwear from Pakistan. They have arms, weapons, bullets and guns that are not made in India, not made in China. I mean, when you see such clear evidence that this is coming from across the border, how long can a nation and its people stand patiently and wait for these prescriptions, Amarjit Kaur, that let's be nice, let's sing songs, let's improve our intelligence community, let's try and heal wounds between Indians and Muslims in India. At one time, war becomes a messy but necessary proposition, even if it's a limited war like going across the border and attacking camps.
It will be too messy. If there is a war between India and Pakistan, it will be too messy.
Isn't there already a war, Obid?
No, I don't think that it is a war.
I mean, how many Indians have to die before we declare it a war?
The thing is that we can't imagine.
We had this kind of
experience. More people have died through terrorist
We had the same kind of experience
than all
in
the
Punjab,
wars put together since
where we have
1947.
strengthened our democracy, and we have
I
gone for
want
the
to know
development of
where-
the Punjab state, and after
Has
that we
the
were
world
able
found
to root out the whole
Wherever
emergency problem from
Americans
Punjab.
in the name of controlling terror went as a terrorist state, I should say, have they found the solutions?
Yes.
They have not, they have ruined
The Sri
the
Lankans found the
societies.
solution.
In
The Americans
this case,
found the
India and
solution.
Pakistan
Then
And
they
they
are
are,
single attack.
the Sri
Solution
Lankans
doesn't lie
are
in
facing
that.
flag.
Nothing.
But
for that.
Amarjit
They
Kaur,
are
listen
not-
to what
they are-
Subramanian
they are-
Swamy is saying. He's saying that Sri Lankans have decimated their terrorists,
Yeah.
the LTTE, even though we
Americans
may
have
have other
done.
sentiments. The fact is that the fact is even the Italian government, who we can sit and criticize, went through all these
No, but
measures
what
to
is
rescue
Sri
two
Lankan
citizens.
government
Yes.
doing to its own
I mean,
Tamilians?
we have to respect
What
the
is
Italian
Sri
government
Lankan
for going
government doing to its own
through
Tamilians?
all these Machiavellian games for the sake of two citizens. They put at risk their relations with India. They constructed this elaborate plan to bring two boys home.
Yes, correct.
And what are we doing for our people who are dying like dogs on the streets? And we sit back and ask for all these soft measures and say, let's reach out and stroke each other. I mean, at some point we have to accept that that's not working anymore, Amarjit Kaur.
We need not be soft, but not to be soft doesn't mean we go and attack and have retaliation. This is not going to improve
No, we-
upon
we
relations.
should follow the
History
policy
has
of the
told
Chinese
we
in
have
Tibet.
fought wars.
But talk
It's
about
not
that,
that we have not
explain to
fought
the
wars.
viewers, Subramanian
No,
Swamy.
I am talking to Ms. Amarjit Kaur, right?
Yeah.
That what
Yes.
the Chinese are doing in Tibet, does she know what she's supposed to be a communist? She should know.
No, basically what Dr.
Or
Swamy
Xinjiang.
what Dr. Swamy is advocating is repopulation of
No,
a certain
we are not
portion of
discussing
India.
He
here
is
about
advocating.
China and
No, no,
Tibet.
that's a
I
separate
really
part
am
of
not-
the.
that is
exactly
a
what
separate.
is that.
No. What he
They
said.
are
I mean,
using-
let's not
Talking
play
about
with
India
this.
and
The
Pakistan.
point,
to
the
put down-
point that Subramanian Swamy makes, a very important point for India to hear, is that countries that have got hard on terror, whether it's Sri Lanka, and forget the politics of it, just look at the facts. Sri Lanka has gone hard against terror, they have decimated the LTTE. The Americans have got hard against terror, they've never had a repeat of 9/11. The Brits have gone hard on terror, they have not had another subway or metro bombing. The Israelis have gone hard on terror. Yes, they live with terror all the time, but they are a confident country that is in control of its borders. The Chinese have gone hard against terror in Xinjiang and Tibet, and nobody listens to the Tibetan and Xinjiang. No matter where, I'm separating the moral issue. I'm looking here at the practical issue. That is it time for India to wake up and understand that instead of getting lost in these moral arguments,
but the thing is,
the first responsibility.
But try and understand.
No, it's not moral argument.
If all of them have
We
gone
need to
first,
discuss about terror,
all of them have
genesis
gone
and
up
how
with
to
the
handle
people
it.
who were not a rogue state. Presently,
Now, who
we are
created
dealing with a
this?
rogue
Who
state.
created
with
this
an
terror groups in
irresponsible
Pakistan?
state
We
which is
should
possessing
understand.
the nuclear weapon. You should understand this thing also, that we will be dealing with a very, very irresponsible government. With a rogue state, and they possess nuclear weapon also.
That's a good point. Hilal Naqvi, that's a very good
Jahangir.
point. Yes, Amarjit Kaur.
Jahangir, when India and Pakistan, after that Bangladesh was born, after that for so many years, Pakistan never dared to raise their voice or anything. It was understood India is much more strong and can reply them back. The day India and Pakistan came into nuclear bomb making process, from that day India and Pakistan were put on par. We began our mistakes from there, and today saying that we will go and bomb their camps and not realizing that they are also sitting on nuclear power in the form of bombs, and
Fair
India
enough.
also has that capacity.
That's a good point.
We are not going to help this situation.
That's a good point, Amarjit
Terrorism can't be
Kaur. But
fought
just
in
let
this
me
manner
make
between these
another
two
one.
countries.
You are saying that maybe we need to put a house in orders. Beni Prasadji, you are saying that.
I was saying that Subramanian Swamy ji ne kaha, he said that Pakistan has 6 states. Who are we to deal with? But we can deal with our own state at least. We are one
If
state.
there's a war, India will unite. You don't have to unite
we are
India
one
to
state.
have a war.
Let's
curb
no, no, one sec. There's a point here. There's a point. Let Beni Prasadji make the
That
point.
may be politics of Pakistani political
which is
parties.
supporting
That can
terrorism
be politics
from
here.
Indian soil.
Fair enough.
That can be
But-
American
Are we
politics put about
doing
somewhere
anything
and then you have
about
presidential
controlling
election.
the collaborators?
But not
Okay.
for India.
Are we doing
Okay,
anything
let-
about the sleeping away cells?
Sir,
We have
let
to-
me ask you this.
Yes.
You are making a point, a very wise point, that we need to put our own house in order. Ubaid, you're nodding. I think you're agreeing with that
Yeah,
somewhat.
I agree with
Amarjit Kaur is saying the same thing. But let me ask you this. Are we telling the Chinese to put their own house in order and become democratic before they act tough in Xinjiang and Tibet? Are we telling the Americans to put their own house in order to get, you know, their massive social tensions resolved before they get tough? Are we telling the Israelis, who still treat Arabs like second-class citizens, and there's no debate about that, to put their house in order before they bomb Hezbollah, shut off the Gaza Strip, but keep their citizens safe? I mean, separate the emotional and moral arguments when go back to the most fundamental responsibility of a state. Amarjit Kaur, respond to this. The most fundamental responsibility of a state from the time human beings have lived in tribes is to protect each other. And how are we protecting our citizens?
So do you agree with
whatever examples you are giving?
the Subramanian Swamy?
Whatever examples you are giving, as I've mentioned before,
for a change, there is a question being put to the answer. I don't want to avoid it. I am saying, if you ask me, the long and short of it is, yes, I believe that hot pursuit, hitting terror camps,
hot pursuit and war, these are two different things.
That's what he's saying, bomb the terror camps, not Islamabad and Karachi.
Jahangir, having a war reminds me of a person who cut off his head just because he had a headache.
And that's
we have a constant headache from Pakistan. Let us learn to have as many aspirins, anacins or whatever. We need targeted retaliation each time an incident happens. And that we need not debate.
Targeted retaliation is what I just told Ubaid I'm in agreement with. But where is the targeted retaliation?
Targeted retaliation is this. You know that Bombay, the persons responsible were Hafiz Syed and those unidentified people from the ISI. Go after Hafiz Syed.
How do you go after them?
Go after only a few of them.
Targeted assassination.
Not by bombing.
Amarjit Kaur, do you agree with that? Send 6 Black Cat commandos or whatever into Pakistan. Identify, he walks around Pakistan like an open man.
Yes.
You know, put a 9mm bullet in his head.
It's not that possible.
I would pay some.
Why is that not possible? Isn't that the shame?
Commandos and all.
Amarjit Kaur, isn't that the shame?
We have to be a firm state.
We spend almost 2 lakh crores a year on defense. And we don't have the capability to go across the border and put a bullet in one man's head who walks around Pakistan.
Why can't we catch the followers of Hafiz Syed who are in India? First follow them. First catch them.
Why not just go after the head? Why worry about the body?
Yeah, exactly. The followers will turn to be your supporters.
In this case, the head is literal and figurative. But honestly, isn't that the shame of India's security, that we can't carry out the targeted assassination of a man who blatantly attacks us, kills us?
But Hafiz Syed is challenging America also.
Yeah, Americans don't.
And they have put a bounty of $10 million on his head.
Challenging America also. He's saying that I'm roaming around in Pakistan. If you have got guts, come and take me away.
Look, Hilal Naqvi, let me ask you this.
No, we can't become.
Let me ask you this.
We can't become American administration. We don't want to become that.
You believe Chinese administration and do what they are doing.
You know how they have ruined various countries.
Okay, let me ask you this.
We know that we don't want to be Americans. We don't want to.
What about Chinese?
We are not talking about ruining other countries. We are trying to stop.
India should give firm signals.
Amarjit Kaur, you are mixing up 2 issues here. You are mixing up 2 issues here. This is not about America messing up other countries. It's about America keeping its own citizens safe.
Yes.
And it's about India not keeping its own citizens safe. We're not asking to go bomb Cambodia.
No, if we talk of globe which is talked about,
it is just because of the geographical location of the America. Jahangir, why don't you understand that the America is surrounded by the water? From all the sides it is surrounded by the sea. And it is not very easy to go out there. They are not having such an irresponsible neighbors which we have. They are not having a rogue state in their neighbor which we are having. They are not having a rogue state which is sitting on a nuclear weapon. And they don't have to face that. India has to face that. And understand one more thing. What Pakistan wants that India should declare war against Pakistan. And once we will declare war against Pakistan,
in India,
playing in the hands of the Pakistan.
Okay, but isn't there a contradiction here, Sanjay Hegde?
Jahangir, you know that
just a moment, Amarjit. Just a moment, I'm trying to talk to Sanjay Hegde. Isn't there a fundamental contradiction here? Is that our own politicians stand in parliament and blame Pakistan, openly name Pakistan? Our own intelligence people, our own army people, our own security people are always telling us Pakistan is responsible. But then when we ask for action to be taken against that responsibility, then we have these complicated arguments. Then we should shut up. And we should not go into parliament and blame Pakistan. Isn't there an inherent contradiction here?
There is a lot of contradiction, and inherently what we need to do is what Theodore Roosevelt long ago advised. Talk softly, carry a big stick.
But we're doing the opposite.
And yes, our sticks are too small.
We're doing neither.
And we're talking too loud. What we really need is to, as Ambassador said, we have to concentrate on building our country. Money does talk. When we present to the rest of the world a developed country, and when you see the mess which is across the border, that itself is one of your greatest sources of safety.
Okay.
In the 60s and the 70s, Pakistani income and Indian income was roughly on par. Today, we can proudly tell our Pakistani neighbors that every Indian, irrespective of his religion, has had a better deal in India.
And there is a realization of this fact
has a better deal in India than in Pakistan.
Pakistanis realize that the market capitalization, the value of Reliance Industries is more than the whole stock market.
That's right. Absolutely.
But Subramanian Swamy, there's another point here, which is let's pay attention to this. Yes, we have debated and argued about terrorism for 20 years. But what I am seeing, and maybe I'm alone in this, but I want to ask your opinion, is something qualitatively different and more dangerous happening now. Suddenly I'm seeing Pakistan stepping up, raising the ante, acting like a mercenary state, paying people to kill and behead Indian soldiers, having people just walk into buildings with machine guns and shoot anyone. Are you seeing this too?
This is getting worse. This is going to get worse.
That's what I'm asking.
This is going to get worse because when the Americans leave Afghanistan, when the NATO leaves, this is going to get much worse.
Do you agree?
Americans are not going to leave. I mean, this is one of these usual things that the Americans have put it out. They are going to have, even at their own present calculations, not less than 30,000 troops in Afghanistan.
But that's only for their own sake.
Oh, so what? But they are not going to leave. And they have got a huge reach.
Do you see this
no, let me tell you what the fundamental difference that has come, why I am advocating a military strike in the camps of Pakistan. Till 2005, it was people coming from Pakistan. Now it's increasingly, maybe 40% of the contribution of terrorists is from our own people.
That's what
I'm
saying.
No, but the question is not for whether the question is a solution for that. The problem is in those who are planning it all in Pakistan. It is there who we have to take a deterrent action. Deterrence is the fundamental principle of security. There has never been security anywhere in the world except by deterrence. The Americans went all the way and killed Osama bin Laden, and they planned it for 8 years, you see. So therefore, if you want to do something, you have to deter. Make it hard for them to pay the cost.
And for
that is what.
How could you argue with that?
You don't have to go from one extreme to another.
Who created Osama bin Laden?
That's a problem.
If Americans created Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda on the border of India in the Pakistan, using their creation to overthrow the government in Afghanistan, then coming in Afghanistan, helping Taliban to rule, and then when Taliban
that is your own presumption,
then to kill them, then using that alibi in Iraq.
No, I would advocate one more thing.
Today Americans have a different
I would advocate
interest.
one more thing.
If Americans just come and strike and kill Osama bin Laden, they have different interests within Pakistan. They are till today supporting various groups, telling we are against one group and then showing their sympathies to another. They want unstable Pakistan today, Americans, and then later on they will use Pakistan, ultimately India to be put in dock. They are nobody's friends as far as American administration is concerned.
Let me be very frank.
We should not be
these issues, Subramanian Swamy, the fact is that all these larger issues that you're talking about, we could have said them last week, last month, last year, 10 years ago. I want to go back to the question that I asked. are we actually are we staring in the face at a massive rise in terrorism?
I don't think so.
Okay, you don't think so?
I don't think so that there is going to be a massive rise.
Yeah.
It is because the elections are very close in Pakistan, and there are elements in Pakistan who do not want to have better relations with India, and they are taking advantage of the situation. Right now they are taking...
They are the dominant people.
Of course they are the dominant people. Yes, you are absolutely right. I completely agree with you, and we have to look at it. As far as the political leadership of Pakistan is concerned, they realize this thing. I mean, they understand that it is not in their interest to have bad relations with India, as he has just pointed out.
Can I ask you a question? You are an academic, you teach, you've been a journalist. Is there any other country in the world, in fact I'd say the history of the world, which would tolerate pictures like we are seeing on our screen of young boys who randomly wear casual clothes to show the casualness of their action, who strap on arms and ammunition around their waist, walk around with AK-47s in the middle of the downtown of your state's capital cities, blow up your hotels, shoot your CRPF headquarters? Just answer me this.
Jahangir,
is it ever happened anywhere?
Pakistan is facing the same problem. Shias are being killed by Sunnis in Pakistan. Look at the
somehow. Forgive me for not caring about Pakistan.
Is that an excuse for us?
No, I am not saying that it is an excuse. What I am trying to say, they are the same people. They are the same people who are creating havoc in Pakistan. And they are the same people who are coming to our side and create havoc here.
Samir Kaul,
it's like this.
Samir Kaul of the PDP, a person who is living through this trauma and terror and who is affected by it, joins us. Samir Kaul, do you believe that you are seeing a massive new round of terror which is going up and upward?
No, I just feel it's been on for a long time. You've had a reprieve in between, and I think the things have been going on from bad to worse after 2009. Till 2009 there was a peace process which nobody here seems to be talking about, which according to me is the best bet in this entire region. It's all about, I mean, it's all right to be rhetorical, it's all about to think of bravery and courage and all. Of course you have to do all that.
But there's no point.
But at the back, I'm not, sir. I'm not, sir. If you wouldn't interrupt, well, I would have a chance to discuss matters a little more intellectually.
Well,
the peace process
is not intellectual.
No, I don't think so.
This pacifism,
I'll give you a chance to
this pacifism, these are Chamberlain's famous words. These are what are we being told about. What this peace process is.
If peace process is the only way forward, and it might take you the next 5 to 7 years to realize that.
I don't want to realize this.
Okay, let me ask you this.
You may choose not to get wiser.
Of course not.
But that's
leading us more into the quagmire.
But let me ask you this.
That's what you feel.
Yeah.
Samir Kaul,
your own people have been driven out from there.
Let's just take your point and
they're all my people, sir. It's not your people, my people, his people. We are all
5 lakh Kashmiri Pandits.
We are all Indians.
No, it's not a question
and I don't
of that.
think you need
the Kashmiri Pandits have been targeted. They are living in refugee camps in our country.
Nobody knows that better than Mr. Kaul himself.
Does he know? I doubt it.
Yeah, but you know, I don't respond with rhetoric.
Well, you have.
You
give all these pious thoughts about
if you do not want to listen.
And
I'm so sorry.
And goodwill.
Okay, please just join us. Let's give Samir Kaul a chance to speak. Samir Kaul, go ahead.
The Kashmiris, it's about the Hindus, the Ladakhis, the Bodhs. They have subtle differences, but there is a common ancestry there. You've got to understand what is good for one human being is good for the other. I understand we have a bad neighbor, we have a bad enemy, but there is an internal dimension as well. The external neighbor cannot succeed in intrusion if you haven't created troubled waters, and the troubled waters in that state are unfortunately because of bad governance, bad handling at the central level, at the state level, insensitivity throughout. You've got to understand a large majority of the people.
Okay, let me stop you here, because while I admire that you're not lapsing into rhetoric, you are lapsing into historical statements. Let me ask you this. You say the peace process could take five more years.
Jahangir,
just a minute. There's a very important point we need to ask Samir Kaul, because he is bearing the biggest brunt of all of us at this table.
I would like to.
I'll let you speak.
That is why I
respond to that in a minute, Hilal. But what I want to ask Samir Kaul is, let's say the peace process takes 5 years. You know, sugar in your mouth, 5 years doesn't sound like a long time. But in those 5 years, every time people walk in and blow up a building and shoot at a hotel and, you know, put bombs in marketplaces and shoot up the CRPF headquarters, what are we to do?
Sir, we've got to get to the root of the problem. You've got to
will you
let me answer, sir? Please.
What would we do actually?
With due respect, sir, just let me answer. The problem is not only in Jammu and Kashmir. You have a huge Mao problem. You have the entire border districts redressal. You talk to my friends in Manipur. We have to govern better, be efficient, be sensitive.
This is what I was saying.
I mean, that is a fact.
That we have
and I'm not a bleeding heart, if you would like to call me that.
In every
if you mean getting the house in order is everyone has to talk with the same logic and the same reasoning, then I don't think this is a democracy, sir. I may have an understanding of it. You yourself said that I have borne the brunt of whatever happens in Jammu and Kashmir. Then please be sensitive to what I have to say. I'm saying, yes, we are an aggrieved party, but it needs to be responded with utmost. You've got to differentiate between external aggression and infiltrator. Find out, catch him, fix him, exterminate him.
Okay.
But do not treat the common population in Jammu and Kashmir in the same same respect.
Now
that's all I'm saying.
Okay, but let me again come to this point, because it's a very crucial one. Are we trying to tell the people of India, 1.1 billion of them?
Jahangir, let me.
Hilal, I'm sorry, I'm being unfair to you. Give me just 1 more minute, because I want to clarify. But this one point is very important to clarify. Are we saying that when there's a terror attack, we do nothing to respond and we continue the long-term work of building better governance?
Of course, the terror attack.
No, don't scoff. Is that what you
attack will never happen.
Why don't we talk of prevention?
Prevention.
Talk about some terrorist.
I'm asking a very simple question. Maybe I'm a very simple man, but someone breaks into my home and steals my money, my belongings, my wife, my children. But do I ask myself whether I did something to bring this upon myself?
What Mr. Kaul is saying, that
this is not Jahangir, this is what I want to talk about.
Okay, Hilal, go ahead.
I think you lost him.
No, he is there.
Yeah. The thing is that until unless we are unable to strengthen our democracy in these neighbor states and bring the economic development to these states, we will not be able to deal with all these problems. And this is what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir. Gradually our democracy is getting strengthened. Gradually we are going for the economic development, and that is why these terror activities have speeded up. That is why they are trying to disturb the tranquility which is coming to the Jammu and Kashmir. This is what is happening, that we are unable to find any terrorism within the state. All are infiltrators. They are coming from the outside, and this is what is worrying the Pakistan. Let us go ahead, let us strengthen our democracy, let us develop our neighboring states, and we are sure that the manner in which we have dealt with the terrorism in Punjab, we will be able to deal with the same manner in Jammu and Kashmir also.
Let me ask you this, Amarjeet Kaur. Let's pretend for 2 minutes that I am a terrible man. I am forgetful, I leave my house door open, I kick stray dogs in the street, I am mean to children. And if someone comes into my home, robs it, steals it, kills my wife, kills my children and my dog, who I kick, is that okay?
Then I do not, then I am unaware of all the situations around and I am not preventing.
So am I at fault? And are the people who steal my home and kill my family, should the courts and the police not go after them? So should the police not...
The discussion out here is about a rational human being.
I am talking about a commonplace situation.
The discussion out here is about a rational human being.
And who is that? Am I not rational because I kick a dog and I'm a bad man and leave my door open?
Definitely not.
And therefore the people who take advantage of that...
is not a rational behavior.
The point is, are the people then...
You can't simplify this situation like this.
No, definitely.
Within India...
This is the problem with all the social science. Because you have to behave rationally.
The point, I'm still asking the basic question which I've not got an answer to. Does it mean then the people who rape, loot my house and my family should go scot-free, not be punished, simply because I am a bad man?
No, Jahangir. What needs to happen
Jahangir,
is
it's not
that
that.
you need to
Jahangir,
lock up your
don't
house.
try to compare it with one home like this with the nation.
There has to be somebody who has to have targeted attacks on the actual people who came into your house.
No,
it can't be it can't be a random attack against everybody else who comes from the general direction.
Do you agree with that, Hilal Naqvi? Do you agree with that, Ubaid? Do you agree with that, Amarjit Kaur? Ubaid first.
No, it is absolutely, he is absolutely right. I mean, you target Hafiz Saeed, for example.
That's
because he is the mastermind.
We are all on the same
He is the
side.
mastermind. But you cannot, what he is saying, Subramanian Swamy, is that drop bombs on the camps and Hafiz Saeed will be sitting there and he will get killed.
No.
But we all at least
that is an additional program.
Okay.
Of Hafiz Saeed. But those camps have to be destroyed.
Amarjit Kaur, do you find fault with that? Is there something wrong in hunting down Hafiz Saeed and shooting him?
No.
Can you do it?
Well, you can.
That's a separate point. I'm just interested if there's something you philosophically disagree with.
Philosophically, I don't think anybody disagrees with it.
So then when we keep talking about a nation needing to be united on terror, at least we're united on this point.
Yes, we are.
That targeted assassination would be a good, healthy way to protect your people.
There is no point to argue. There is no point to argue about it.
Then why isn't your government not doing it, Hilal Naqvi?
How do you know that the government is not trying to do it?
Okay, fair point. Maybe they're trying to do it. I accept that. I would be damn happy.
The thing is that is
Can
it
you say
easy?
damn on TV?
I'm very happy. Do you think that it is going to be easy?
If they were doing it.
Don't you think that Hafiz Saeed? Don't you think that Hafiz Saeed is a target of America also? America is also hunting for him.
Yeah.
The point is that all of us are agreed on the end. The question is of means. We target Hafiz Saeed individually. We do not send our entire army. We do not get into a warlike situation. What you really need to do is to do things smartly. You do it long term, like America did with Osama bin Laden. Also, you could turn their own tactics against them. You could pay off people to bump Hafiz Saeed,
which is the $10 million.
You don't need.
On Hafiz Saeed.
You don't need $10 million. You don't need $10 million to throw randomly. But you need somebody who is within.
We are derailing, and very quickly, we need to wrap the show. We're actually out of time. We've gone over time. But unfortunately, I think we need to end this. The sad fact is on a sad note, because we began this discussion with how the Italian government has fooled the Indian government, played Machiavelli, and extracted its 2 citizens who should be standing trial for murder. But what we need also to see is that the Italian government took the time, effort and energy to do that for 2 people. I rue the fact that our government does not do the same thing, that does not care enough for its own people, that would not have done the same thing had 2 Indian soldiers been arrested in Italy, that is not putting the same effort, heart, money, treasure, wit, wisdom and resources into protecting the lives of its Indian citizens, whether they're in Kashmir, whether they're in Hyderabad, whether they're in Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Toronto, London, wherever they may be. And that is the sad fact that I think we all know in our hearts to be true. So on that sad note, I want to thank all our guests for being with us tonight, but stay tuned for much more news and debate coming up on the other side right here on NewsX. Good night and thanks for watching.